Today I'm going to share how I use the iPhone 17 Pro to film my vlogs. I'll share my gear, camera settings, and show a little behind the scenes on how to go about filming. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Reina. I'm a videographer and content creator, and I like to make these beginner-friendly tutorials to hopefully make filmmaking and vlogging a little less intimidating for you. So for the past couple of months, I've been testing out the iPhone 17 Pro, and I think the quality kind of speaks for itself. It's pretty impressive. Like right now, I'm shooting on the Sony a7S III. That's kind of my go-to camera. It's a little bit old, but you know, we don't feel the need to upgrade. So that's like what I usually film on. But now that I have the iPhone 17 Pro, I do find myself like reaching for that for like quick shots or when we're out and about. It's just very light compared to like the full mirrorless camera. The main test we did was between the ProRes RAW as well as the H.265. They're both pretty great, but the RAW files will give you a little more flexibility in color grading. I think if you're doing some more intentional filmmaking, then maybe the RAW is worth it, but if you're just doing casual vlogging, I think the H.265 is a better choice. I'm going to answer some common questions that we get at the end of the video, so hopefully that clears up any questions that you might have, but first, let's go over the gear that I have for the iPhone. So of course, I have the iPhone 17 Pro. I didn't get the Max because it's too big for me. If you do plan on filming on ProRes RAW, you do need an external SSD of some kind. We have the Planck SSD. They gifted it to us, but the video is not sponsored by them. For the accessories, I use Shift Cam. These were also gifted. I asked to see if I could get these items, and I've been liking the phone case, the filter mount, the variable ND filter, the Snap Grip Pro, and the snap stand. They also have a variety of lenses, but I'm just gonna stick to the basics for this video. I use the Blackmagic Camera app to record, and I use the DJI mic for audio if I'm doing talking portions. In terms of the iPhone settings, I have this all set in the Blackmagic Camera app. Codec is H.265 or ProRes RAW, up to you. 4K or OpenGate, up to you again. Color space is Apple Log 2. For the lens, I primarily use a 24mm. I kept the frame rate at 24. Shutter at 1/48. For the ISO, I heard that 200 is where you're supposed to keep it at, so I kind of aim for that, but I kind of just changed it depending on the situation. For the white balance, I also manually adjust depending on the lighting, and for the LUT, we use the Rec. 709 neutral. If you're someone that doesn't want to go full manual mode, I would recommend just setting the color space and the frame rate. And then for the shutter speed, you can just like let it go, you know, without the ND filter, it's fine. For the white balance, if possible, I would try to set it manually just because you don't want it to be changing like during the scene. That's kind of a pain to fix in post. But if you're completely lost, you can set it on auto and it'll show you like maybe a range of what it should be, and then you can just lock it so it's not like changing. Okay, now I'm going to show you some behind the scenes of using the iPhone in real time. So we're at the Honolulu Zoo, and that's where we're going to do the vlog today. But as usual, I want to get like a short talking portion to kind of like establish what we're doing today. And I'm going to use the front camera, but as you can see, the shutter is locked at 1/48 and it's way too blown. And I can't put an ND filter like this in the front camera, so I'm just going to change the shutter just for this portion. Today we're gonna go to the Honolulu Zoo. It's our baby's first time, and even though she won't remember, hopefully she can have some fun today and we can get some cute photos with her and a monkey or something. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's go. I think it's too hot for the animals or something, because usually from my memory over here, you can start to hear the monkeys and they're like swinging around. So I was like, oh great, she can look at them, but they're like huddled on the ground there. I'm just gonna let her nap. I usually film using the main 24mm lens, and if I want to get a little tighter, I'll shoot on the 48. So here's a couple examples. The 24mm and then the 48. And it's really easy to switch between the two using the Blackmagic app. It actually comes in really handy in situations like this where you can't physically get closer to the subject. And in case you're curious, the behind the scenes footage is shot on our Sony a7S III on a 35mm lens. So one way you can check to make sure you're not overexposing, especially like the sky and stuff, it's so bright here, is you can turn on the zebras, and you can see here where, you know, like this, the zebras are appearing, that's clipped. So you won't be able to recover it. So you want to bring it down. They also have false colors on this app that you can check, and they'll show you like if it's red like this, for example, that means that it's really hot and clipped. So you can choose whatever method works for you, but we just use the zebras because it's very quick, especially with the ND filter. As usual, I try to get like a variety of shots, wide, medium, tight, and that's kind of how we go about it when we're filming. And then hopefully maybe we'll try to get one group photo. I just don't want to keep setting up the tripod because I feel like that's kind of a nuisance, you know, with other families around. So this was supposed to be Alisa's first zoo trip, but I'm just gonna make it Jack's first because it's his first time and she's asleep. It's like a child forced to go take a photo by their Asian mama. Here's an example of how I quickly get a sequence of shots. I started with a wide-ish medium, then I move over closer to get a shot of his face, and then a reveal of what he's looking at. And when editing, you can play around with the order of the shots to see what you like. So another tip for filming on iPhone is to make sure to turn the stabilization on right here. It makes a huge difference. I think for our past vlog, I actually forgot to turn it on. So Jack had to like stabilize it in post. So yeah, I'll show you the before and after. This is with the stabilization and this is without the stabilization.
You know who loves these type of shots? My wife.
So we ended up just filming as we're walking around, stopping to get a shot if something catches our eye. I don't really overthink it. Here's some example of some shots I got. A few of Jack, some of the animals that we saw, and a quick selfie. It's hot, so all the animals are taking a nap or hiding. So maybe we'll just go grab lunch. But I'll do one shot of us three together using the stand, the tripod. Is the setup. And here's a short example vlog using the clips that we shot at the zoo. Today we're gonna go to the Honolulu Zoo. It's our baby's first time, and even though she won't remember, hopefully she can have some fun today.
Back when I was a kid, I did what the cool kids did.
Asleep. Jack's first time too?
I guess so. I don't remember being here.
This is where the elephant went. Where? Nowhere to be seen.
Un nid de lit dans mes cheveux, j'ai passé une très bonne journée, mais j'ai du mal à démêler. J'ai du mal à me réveiller.
Where's the animal?
J'attends que le frigo arrête de chanter pour pouvoir me concentrer dans ma créativité. C'est difficile de passer les étapes de bonheur intense au silence.
You need to give me a reaction because I tend to sleep.
David.
Whoa. How would she react, do you think, if she saw that?
Let me think about it.
If she saw an elephant, how do you think she would react? Okay, now I'm gonna go over some common questions. What format should I film on? So like I said, for casual vlogging or long talking portions, I highly recommend the H.265. The file sizes are just a lot smaller and I feel like you can't tell that big of a difference. But if you're going for more intentional filmmaking, again, I feel like the ProRes RAW does give you a little bit more flexibility when color grading, so totally up to you. You will have to deal with the bigger file sizes, but if you have the SSD, you know, that'll be enough to cover the raw files, but again, it depends on how much space you have, I guess. The only format I really don't recommend is the H.264 because that's in 8-bit. Should I film in 4K or open gate? So I feel like this is a personal preference. If you do shoot on open gate though, it does give you more flexibility if you're someone that wants to repurpose content for like vertical stuff because it leaves more room up here. You can also crop horizontally, so completely up to you. If you like the look of open gate, you can just film it like that. Just a quick note, I just noticed this when I recently shot in open gate on H.265. The resolution will be at 1920 by 1440 compared to when filming in ProRes RAW, which is 4224 by 3024. So that's just what it is right now. I don't know if they're gonna update it in the Blackmagic app, but just thought I would note it. How do you color grade your iPhone footage? So we use DaVinci Resolve Studio for everything post-production. I edit in it and then I give it to Jack to do the color and audio. And the LUT that we use is actually built into DaVinci Resolve and you can get it on the free version as well. So I think that's the Kodak 2383. So just use that LUT. And we do also have a full tutorial on how we color grade if you want to learn how to color grade from Jack. So that's a separate video. Will iPhone replace all your other cameras? So as much as I like all the footage that we got from the iPhone, after using it for a couple of months, I think I realized that no, it won't replace all our other cameras. I really thought and wished it would, but for example, for the Sony a7S III, like there's so many more lenses that I can put on it. So if I want like a zoom lens or use a vintage lens or whatever it is, you have more opportunity. And then there's like this depth of field that you get from these cameras that you can't really have an iPhone. I think you can do it in post, but it's just not the same. So, you know, when you're looking for something that has that look to it, then, you know, I'll reach for the a7S III. And I really thought that it was definitely going to replace all my pocket cameras like the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 or all my Insta360 cameras. But, you know, like when I'm filming on the phone, I was like, this is great, but at the same time, I can't use my phone for just like phone stuff, you know, like texting, calling, or any baby stuff. Like I use a Huckleberry app, so like I can't use all of that while filming or it gets interrupted. So if you want something like designated just for filming, I'm like, like I can see why the pocket cameras will come in handy where you can keep things separate, you know? Yeah, unfortunately, it's not going to replace everything, but you know, in times where I just don't want to bring anything else and it's like, am I going to film? Am I not going to film? Then I can just bring my iPhone and a few accessories, you know? So that's really nice. And the footage I do like a lot. So it is super light and you have it with you and you do get like the phone and camera in one if you're thinking of purchasing something and you're like, I need to upgrade my new phone. It's like then you also get this really good camera with like a one-time purchase. So that's a pro. But again, if I just want to use my phone and you're filming and you can't use it at the same time and it drains the battery life, that's something to keep in mind as well. Your favorite iPhone gear. So like I said, I really like the Planck SSD for the organization, like not just because they gifted it to me. I really do use it when I'm filming. I just think it's much more organized. That's really important to me. And out of all the accessories that they gifted us, I really like the Snap Grip Pro because it charges the phone and it just makes it like easier to film and hold your phone. Do you use the front camera when filming yourself? Yes, I do. And it was much more better than I thought it was gonna be. Like, I don't know why, but I thought because it's not like the main cameras, it was gonna look really bad, but I tested it out and it looks really good. The only thing that sucks is that you can't put an ND filter on it. So I think I just changed the ISO to like bring it all the way down. And if that's still too bright, then I just changed the shutter speed. And that worked just fine. And a last tip that I want to mention is make sure not to bake the color in. There's like this button that I accidentally pressed in one of the vlogs when I was testing out the iPhone, and it just bakes in the color. And that made it a lot more difficult for Jack to color. So make sure that that's off. And another thing is I talked about the autofocus being bad. I think I just didn't have it on or it was glitching out. So I restarted it and I turned it on and it worked beautifully. So disregard that comment if you watched the other vlog. The autofocus is great. Okay, so that is it for this video. If you have any additional questions, just leave it below and I will try my best to answer them. And again, I'll leave the link to all the gear that I mentioned below if you're interested. But that's it for this video. I hope you found this helpful and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!